Hello, Augie. Hello, Eddie.
Hello and welcome back to Art Therapy with Jenn. Today we are doing some more magazine collage. I'm going to be working in my ideas collage art journal, and I'm going to be doing a one magazine challenge page. Now, if this is your first time tuning in and you've never seen one of my one magazine challenge videos, what I do is I take a single magazine, I go through it, I pick out pages, anything that catches my eye, and I make a collage page using only images from that one magazine. Now for this one, these images that I'll be using, I actually shot a harvest and chat video on the channel. That should be the one right before this, and I'll try to remember to link it in an iCard and down below. So if you want to see the full magazine before I tore everything apart and all that good stuff and hear me rambling and go on with my crazy self, check that out. But that's the images we're going to be using today. I believe it's a Harper's Bazaar magazine. I think it was December or January. It had Angelina on the front, if that helps. But what you see me doing right now, so I have all the pages that I tore out of the magazine, and I'm just going through splitting them into categories. I like to split things into background images, like focal images, people, and words. So right now, to build up my background, I'm just taking stock of what I have and just ripping it up and seeing where I can go with this, because I don't really have any idea where any of this is going to go. And the magazine had a lot of different color palettes and a lot of different themes, so we'll just see. And the thing that I like to do, and I've mentioned before, when I'm not sure where to start, I'll take a picture, I'll rip it in half, I'll put part of it on one page, part of it on the other page, just to get some type of color story and symmetry going. So that's what I'm doing here with this jewelry picture, which those are really pretty. I like those. And we just kind of see what story develops out of this. I tell y'all what, I'm not going to lie, I struggled a little bit with this one. So I had taken, what was it, 2 or 3 months off the channel, and I wasn't able to do any art journaling during that time either. And it's almost like a creative muscle. Like when you haven't done that for a while, you got to kind of warm it up and strengthen it again. And I made myself just sit down, make some decisions on the page, and just get to it. Because it's really what you have to do to, get that inner journaling voice going again. And I just really struggle with it. And y'all see me there. I have more jewelry, but that's more of a, I guess, more minimalistic looking image. Minimal image. I don't know. Y'all know what I mean. Just putting random bits together. And as always, I turn them every which way. I don't care about right side up, upside down, sideways. I just play with it. I rip off little bits of paper and glue at different places, and why not, right? But I definitely struggled a little bit with this one because I'm out of practice, y'all. I am out of practice. I think since my break, the only journaling I've really done, this would have been my 3rd journaling session. So it's been a little while. And this magazine was quite a challenge anyway. It's like I said, it had all different color stories, all different. It was like all over the place, but it's all right. That's what these one magazine challenges were originally for, is just to get me to expand my thinking, and not to overthink. Just use these images that are right there and go with it. Now this little image I'm about to glue in this top left corner of the right page there, that is like my favorite image of this whole page. And when you all see it on the finished page, it's my happiest little moment on the page, if you will. I may start just taking pictures of certain small bits of pages and posting them on Instagram just to kind of a preview or something like that. But keep an eye out on that little corner up there with that lamp looking thing hanging down. That's one of my favorite little moments of this page. So now that I put that jewelry down, I saw that I had all these cool, like, industrial, maybe you call it, or I don't know. There a lot of these, like, old planes, old machinery, things like that. And I started adding that to kind of play off the fanciness of the jewels, if you will. And I believe this was originally from a photo shoot that was supposed to be like Star Wars themed or something like that. And I'm just having fun with it. I tore out all the like Star Wars stuff and I just used the machinery, because I don't really like to use people or imagery that is so recognizable in a certain way. It kind of takes away from the fantasy of it. Although I have found I am out of touch with the celebrity sphere, and I have used in my pages people I didn't realize were super famous celebrities, which they are. I am just out of touch, y'all. You know, I roll off the mountain every once in a while. I don't have TV. I've not had TV in, gosh, probably a decade now, close to. So if it ain't on Netflix and Hulu and I ain't seen it, and they're not stars from like 2005 up, I probably don't know. But hey, I'm slowly learning. I work with a bunch of younger people now, and they're teaching me things. They're teaching me things. You know, I learned about TikTok the other day, you know. I still ain't quite sure what it is. I think it's supposed to be kind of like Vine, but I'm not sure. And I didn't really like Vine, so I've not really looked at that further. But anyway, y'all see there, I'm still just ripping different images and putting them together just to try to really set the color tone for the page and where we're going to go with that. And I tell y'all what, too, a challenge. This page just did not have that many background or images that I could use for the background. So I really had to just be like, okay, where's this going to go? How is this going to go? Let's fit this here and just go with it. Just really go with it. Worst case, I will take some of the words from the articles and turn them every which way and make a pattern with it or something. You know, for art journaling, you don't need a ton of stuff and everything. You can work with what you have. And it's another reason I made this challenge is for people that they might only have one magazine and they don't have access to a big old pile of them. And that's really all you need. So let's take a close look here of the background as it is right now. I think for some really weird reason that industrial next to the jewels work. Then again, I guess most of that jewelry is made in a machine, so kind of works. So now I've gone through and all the people I saved, I've cut them out, ripped them out, however, and I'm just holding all of them up and seeing what might work on this page. I don't have any idea of the theme I'm going with. I don't have any idea of the story. I know, like I want to use those eye images in each of the corners, but beyond that, no clue, no idea. So I just start setting them on the page and seeing what works with what. And I rip off corners more, you know, I cut out some backgrounds, and we just go with it. And some backgrounds I cut out, some don't. Like the girl on the right page there, she's got this just, I have hair envy right now, but she has this thick, curly, wonderful hair. That would be pert near impossible to cut the whole background out. And I'm one of these people. If I'm going to cut the background out, as you see me doing to that girl with the glasses right there, I'm going to cut the whole thing out. It's going to look as if she never had that background, you know. So just try to be strategic in what I keep and what I know I can cut the background out of and everything. And I really tried to use her. I tried every which thing, and she just really didn't fit on that page in the end, I don't believe. But you see me there, I'm trying, and I'm cutting that one down, and it just, I don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. And I'm just laying all those images up. Like I said, this was an exercise. Sometimes you just have to ease yourself back into it, y'all. And sometimes, especially doing a challenge like this, you find yourself with images maybe that you don't really gravitate toward usually, and you got to kind of make it work and, you know, take it from something that's not in your wheelhouse to something that is in your wheelhouse. There I am. I'm still going through my images, my pile of people images, just to see, will this work? Will that work? What is this? And you'll see in a second, I actually end up using an image, that one right there, the girl in the red suit, that I had actually saved another portion of the page, and my eye wasn't really drawn to her at first, and I actually had her like in the scrap pile, and I was about to throw that away, and then I saw her and I was like, boom, perfect. She just really stands out. And I think this photo shoot, she's actually like posing by a motorcycle with, I think, somebody from Star Wars. I don't know. I don't really know that much about Star Wars. It's still beyond me that it's popular again. Because I remember, like, my older brothers growing up, they were in the group with the first Star Wars movies. And then when I was in high school, the second group came out with like episode 1 and everything. And then now we're seeing the resurgence with, I don't even know. Like I said, I don't have TV. And it was weird that like Star Trek came back. I think I remember when, what was it? Next Generation was huge with Captain Picard. I don't really know anything about Star Trek either. Or Star Trek. I've been corrected before. Not Trek. No offense to you Trekkies out there. I have many of them in my life. It's just not something I ever really got into. That wasn't a sci-fi show I ever really got into. My dad was huge into it though. Had all the VHSs. But anyway, so I finally settled on my cast of characters here. The people that I'm going to use for my page. I really like the way they flow, and it all started from that image in the upper left of just the eye. I think her eyes are so striking, and I also just, I don't know, these were not the images I intended, but I'm really glad I ended up with them. I just put them on the page and see what fits. So now I get the challenge of trying to figure out what words. And this first half of this page, you're just going to see me do a lot of cutting and struggling. So there was quite a few words that I picked out of the magazine. A lot of them did not fit together. I just start cutting things up. You can just almost hear the gears running in my head. Just trying to figure out what I'm going to use. I first try to see if I can use the words together as how they came in the magazine, and then that doesn't work. So then I start splitting them up, halving them, putting phrases with other phrases, and just seeing what I can make work and what makes sense to me. And this is the part too where kind of the whole theme or story comes together the most as well. And you'll just see me, I'm just one of these people, I'm very tactile, so I have to like touch everything, but I also have to lay it out and really see where it's going, how it's working, what's going on, and all that good stuff. So I started noticing that a lot of the different images had the word dream. So I'm like, okay, dream, we can go with this. This is relevant to my life right now. We can go with dream. Dream is good. And it kind of has a bit of dreamy colors in the palette with the background and everything. So we're going with it. We're going with it. See, and I'm just going to grab my book really quick if y'all hear some rustling around and everything, so I can read y'all the words once we get finished here. And there I am. I'm still moving them around. I told y'all I'm out of practice, but we're getting there. We are getting there. I'll just keep this in here because I want any of y'all that feel discouraged, or maybe you haven't journaled in a while, or you're afraid to just try something out. Just get in there and do it. And it's going to feel awful and awkward and might be horrible for a little bit, but then you'll get it. You got it. That's also coming back to me too, because there's a lot of things I don't want to try out. I don't want to fool with, and then I end up just really loving them. I mean, I didn't even want to write on top of my magazine images. I didn't want to use paint. I thought that was crazy. And now I just grunge the fool up of everything. So just whatever you want to use. And maybe you'll like something and you'll do it 2 or 3 pages and you're good with it and you move on. I mean, it ain't that big a deal. You know, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just here to do some journaling. So I just use whatever I feel like. So it's fun. And I have a lot of magazines to get through. So it works out. It works out. I used to be a couponer and a deal hunter. And I have a lot of magazines, free magazines left over from that. So I finally got my word placement how I want it. And I'm gluing it on there, just making sure everything's where it needs to be and where I want it to go, where it kind of flows around the page. So while you see me gluing that there, I'm just going to start at the top left, go down, and then start at the top right and go down. So we have people think I'm positive and fun, but I had to talk about what I endured. Next, experimental in their approach to dream big. And then right under the girl in red. And this is one I spliced together about 3 different clips to get. So connections, boundaries between will continue to blur and will become more irresistible. Then second page, we have it starts with a dream. Then cosmic connection. And then the very last meaningful dream at the bottom. So y'all will see the close-ups there. And I really liked the flow and it was starting to come together. And it really kind of hits me quite a bit because it's everybody every day, and there's a lot of us, we're pursuing some type of dream, right? Some of us, we may not even know what that dream is yet, but we're pursuing it. And there's almost like this connection between us. And I think we see that a lot nowadays with social media and everybody pursuing all these things and connecting in that way. And to me, it feels like the last meaningful, the older I get, I feel like, can I still pursue something like this? Or should I just focus on other things? How do we say this? Oh, and before I get back into it, I'm just making a Sharpie border there, y'all. Just making a Sharpie border. But it's like you get told you should pursue your dreams, but you also get told that you should be practical, you know, or you're going to pursue your dream and that's not realistic. You're such and such years old now. You need to start, you need to grow up. You need to be practical. You need to do this. And yes, bills need to get paid. Work needs to be done. But it almost feels the more you want to pursue your dream, it is almost like the very last dream. It does almost become like more desperate in the approach, but at the same time more cautious. Am I making any sense? Am I making any sense? Y'all will see me there with a metallic marker. I'm just going around with a silver metallic marker and outlining the words. Behind the scenes tea here, this was actually a little over a week after I did the Sharpie border because I had my test and I had to come back on that. Which I still haven't got my grade back for my test, but I'm very hopeful. I think I at least got a high B or A on it. So just depends. First time I've had that instructor and don't know how he grades. But anyway, back to the dream. Does that make sense? Like when you're younger, you have all these dreams you're going to pursue. You know, when I was little, it's like you're going to be an astronaut, you're going to be a teacher, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. And as you get older, you kind of rein that in some. Maybe you want to start a business, maybe you want to do this, maybe you want to do that. And as you get busier and you're just working, trying to survive and everything, that dream becomes far more distant. But as it says in here, it's still irresistible because you feel that your time may have passed, but in the same vein, you feel like you may have less time to finally pursue it. So you're more desperate to pursue it. I don't know. That's kind of my feeling with this. I hope that makes sense for y'all. But anyway, back to the page. So I'm just taking some apple barrel. How about want to call it apple barn? Some apple barrel, just cheap acrylic craft paint, and with my finger, and I'm just making kind of some smoky wisp all around the page. This is kind of like what I used to do with gel pen. I don't have any white gel pens at the moment, so I was like, hey, I got apple barrel paint, why not? And I'm just doing it in a way where it's very transparent, but it also kind of looks like smoky wisp, just to kind of grunge up and bring the background together even more and make certain areas stand out. If that makes sense. And it makes it more dreamy. How about that? More dreamy with a cosmic connection. And one of these days I'll use a brush, y'all. One of these days. And my new thing that I've been liking to use a lot, I'm using an art crayon. This is Marabou, I think. And this is just a black, like soft pigment crayon, I guess you call it. And I am just making random squiggles and then smushing them out. Because this is something, it never dries. It's a pigment, so it's always going to be kind of reactive. And it'll move around, and it's just really getting on top of that white apple barrel paint and really just putting that color every little bit. And I wanted to bring some more color into that, so I got kind of the purpley color, like reddish purpley color that kind of ties in with the image on the bottom right with the girl with that light up face mask thing on her face. And I'm just adding in these splashes of purple, and again just scribbling and taking my finger and smoothing it out, feathering it out, blending it out, whatever you call it, just to bring that color up. And I'm digging through my little crayon box. I bought these on sale like 2 years ago, y'all, and I never really used them. So I'm happy to be able to find a fun use for them. It's just, I got into that whole gotta have all the art supplies things. This, I'm going back in. This is actually a distress crayon, which is about the same thing, just from a different brand. And it's a little bit lighter purple, just to give some more dimension to that purple. Now I'm taking some coffee because, yeah. And, now I'm looking in there, and I had fun with this part, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I came back. I did this actually last night, and my test is done. I'd had a severely crappy day, and I just sat down and smushed some crayon around. I mean, what's better than that? So now I know. Hold on. This is don't adjust your set here. I'm using a paintbrush. And I'm taking the apple barrel paint again, and I decided I want to add me some of these little poor man snowflake looking things here. Which I don't know, are they twinkles? Are they stars? Are they snowflakes? Are they, what is it in the shows where they'll stand on a road and all the flower petals will fall by? I don't know. Y'all let y'all decide, whatever y'all see. But I just started taking my little paintbrush there and just making some of these little shiny shapes there, making some dots. And I really like too, because that those art crayons that I used, they, like I said, they're pigments, so they're very reactive to water, and in this case paint. So as that paint dries on top of that pigment, some of that pigment is going to bleed into that white paint. So they're going to all be just a little bit different of a color and not really stark white. And I don't have any rhyme or reason to this at this time. I'm just doing it. I'm trying to think of what I was watching, because I like to tell y'all what I was watching. I might have been watching the show The Last Autopsy, or The Last Hours Before Autopsy. I don't know. It's a show where it's like this medical examiner goes over celebrities' autopsies and tells you the last few hours of their death because of what's been found in the autopsy. So there you go. I don't know. I find random stuff to watch, y'all. I get in my moods. What am I watching now, though? That is the question. Sorry if you're hearing my mouse click. I don't know. It's not telling me the title. We're just going to go with it. No. I know what I'm watching. Dirty Money on Netflix. I got just sucked in. Some of those episodes are so good. I highly recommend it if you're into like documentary style stuff. It talks about all these people who are super shady with money, like money laundering, like check cashing places, payday loans. I just watched the episode on Wells Fargo, which I found just fascinating because I work in the financial industry and I have worked for a couple different places, and definitely to see some of those things, it was, yeah. But anyway, that's all we're gonna say about that. So, and as y'all know too, I never met a bit of white space that I couldn't cover, so I just like adding those little dots and those little shapes all over that thing. I'm just having a ball. And I had to turn the page upside down because I'm left-handed, and I just got so into it that I forgot to start from the right and go left. So I had to turn it upside down and finish the other part. And I think I may have to do some more of these painted little shapes on other pages, because I was really digging how this turned out. It's like, it was really therapeutic after a rough day and just frustrating week, and I'm brain fried from my exam, and it was great because, again, this is art therapy with Jenn, and this is one of the big things I do to unwind. So that's how it's looking with all my little flourishes. I actually really like how that turned out, and I'm surprised because usually I want to add like dots and go on and everything, but I really think it fits this one. It almost gives it like a shimmery quality that I'm really digging. What y'all think? Snowflakes? Stars? Little shiny twinkle things? Dander? I don't know. And now I decided I wanted some more little dots on there, so I took this Posca pen that I have that's about to run out. So I just did a whole bunch of quick little dots, and since it's about to run out, it's not even that opaque. It's just adding a little more interest, a little smaller dots, a little different opacity, just to add some more noise to it, you know, and just to let me get a little bit of my anger out, you know, in a healthy way. So I like it. I'm very surprised. I remember when I did it, I was actually shocked, and I was like, hey, I actually like this, because I thought I had ruined the page when I started doing it. Again, just try stuff out, y'all. Just try stuff out. Ain't nobody gonna show up at your door and be like, don't do that. Use this, not that. Do this. No, you must buy this. You can't use this. Just do it, y'all. Just do it. So now we're going to do another close-up since I added the little Posca dots. And kind of see there. I'm really digging it. I like the little purple that comes through because of that. So now I'm going to sign it. And that little jewel there. And I actually finished this page on March 11th, 2020. So, hey, I'm getting this to y'all timely. Watch out now. Watch out. And you'll see me there. I actually have to go in with a blue metallic marker because that black pen was not showing up with the date really well. And I like to sign all my pages so I can look back and see. I don't know. What are y'all feeling with this page? What do y'all think the theme is? I'm still, like I said, I got my idea, but I'm still marinating on it. Oh, I just had so much fun with this one. As we come up on the top of the other page, there's my favorite little corner with my little light. It starts with a dream. But thank y'all so much, as always, listening to my ramble and watching me rip some things and have some fun. So thank y'all so much, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye.